How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews back with a non-new brewery time because I've had a beer from this brewery before. That be Zipline Brewing. Yeah, this be their Hazy IPA coming in at 5.5%. I'm excited to give this a whirl. This comes courtesy of my boy Will and Dan. They sent me off some homebrew. They also threw a commercial beer in there, which I'm very appreciative of. These guys are based out of somewhere in Nebraska. Where is it again? Lincoln, Nebraska. And my boy Jesse Tuttle. He sent off some beers probably a little less than a year ago. And they had a little itty bitty porter from these guys, and I thought it was actually really not just sneezy, but fantastic. So I'm kind of excited to give this one a whirl. As far as what it says on the actual bottle itself, it says bright grapefruit and citrus aromas accentuate the smooth, juicy flavor of this sneezy flagship hazy IPA. So there you go. Me sneezing right in the mic for you. I'm sure that sounds awesome. Anyway, label-wise, it's pretty much, it seems like the same label over and over again when it comes to Zipline. I don't hate it. I'll put it that way. So, and that looks like I can drink this in about 3 seconds, to be perfectly honest with you. It's hazy for sure, but I can definitely see through it. I don't know if you guys can actually get my pinky or even my hand kind of obscuring the light in that thing, but I can see there's this like big dimple in this beer, and I can kind of see that in there. So it's very lightly hazy. Now, 5.5%. It is not the biggest ABV beer. So talking about a hazy IPA, more a hazy pale ale kind of vibes to it than anything else, but we're not going to get all semantic-y right now. I think it looks delicious. It looks like pineapple juice. Let's see if we get a nose. If this beer doesn't finish dry, I don't know what will. And it has this kind of underripened pineapple grapefruit thing that is just gobs and gobs. It's not a 2x4 to the face, 5.5%, so you got to keep that kind of expectation level at check. But for 5.5%, it's showing pretty nicely. Yeah, it has that kind of pineapple grapefruit thing kind of bouncing back and forth. It has this kind of almost, it's not undersweetened. You know, there's going to be a sweetness to it, but it's almost like you can actually sense the dryness from the yeast at the end of this thing, maybe accompanied by a bit of the bittering from hops that completely dries this thing out and makes me want to drink this in record time. So it smells really nice. Nothing overly impactful, but pretty nonetheless. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. In a very nice way. Probably a little bit less sweet. I was going to say a little less impactful than hops, but they're pretty vibrant there. That grapefruit, pineapple with a dash of lemon kind of vibes in there really just show up quite nice. It finishes extremely dry. You don't even really get this pop of sweetness that they get from the beer. It's more of like an allusion to the concept of the promise of a little bit of sweetness. But then it dries out completely. You get this nice soft bittering on it in combination with the way it's drying out from that yeast. It kind of accentuates the bitterness, but doesn't get overly heavily handed. It's actually constructed pretty intricately. And I think the way the beer is set up with its relatively low ABV, that it doesn't get overly sweet. You want it to finish dry. You want to go back for more, but you don't want to go completely one side or the other. And I think the amount of dryness that you get from the yeast in combination with what I think is a relatively low dosage of hops, but since the malt bill is quite light, this is probably almost all like super light malt stuff, Pilsner level stuff. It's letting that lower dosage of hops be accentuated by that dryness to kind of prop it up and be a bit more bittery than it actually is. But since the hops are sweet and fruity, and I wouldn't necessarily go juicy, even though they're very fruit leaning. That lack of sweetness keeps them from getting juicy. It ends up being a really fun beer. I mean, you're talking about 5.5%. This level of impact from the hops, being as dry as it is, being as drinkable as it is. If I could get something like this at like a 6-pack, and I assume this is a 6-pack beer. If you're giving this to me for, less than $13 a sixer, which some of these breweries that do bottles like this do, I'm a very, very happy camper. Has a Best By date of 5/08 21. I assume that puts this at, I'm assuming there's 6 months on this. That's my guess. So if this is 2 months old at the time of filming, because this is 5, we're at yeah. So I assume it's December 8th, because that one go the January, February. We're just past February 8th on this. 2 months on this. I think it's held up quite well, and it's really tasty beer. I mean, let's put it this way. That citrus, that grapefruit, that pineapple, that leads into that little dash of lemon on the taste, that dryness, that nice, albeit generic but purposeful and fun bittering in the actual taste, and the uber drinkability makes this beer absolutely delicious. Is this one of the better low ABV hazies that I've had as of late? At least sub 6%. It's worthy of being in conversation. I'm not going to put it on Mount Rushmore status for me, because there's ones that just do a little bit better for me. There's probably, a handful, a dozen or so that I technically would put ahead of this. I don't think that's a knock on this beer. More of a testament to how great low ABV hazies have been coming out of the chute as of late. So it's nothing against this beer. It's worthy of being on that mountain. It's just there's some that really do it just a little bit better for me. But this is something I would never turn away. And like I said, if you gave this to me at a decent, honest to goodness, not poopy price point, I would be overly ecstatic to have this in my fridge at all times. Value availability, no idea. We're going to have to let the Nebraskans let us know what's what when it comes to this beer, and leave you with, if you like, what will you like this beer? I mean, if you like hot presence, your beers to finish completely dry, attenuated, and have this nice drinkability to it, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be hard-pressed to find something exponentially better than this. Like I said, there's some that do it better for me. That's personal preference stuff, but this is a really tasty beer from apparently a brewery that does low ABV stuff really, really well. So, yeah, if you like those things, you'll like this beer. So there you go. Another review in the books. Thank you very much, Will and Dan. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully you're enjoying this beer right now. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Cheers.